right, welcome to another Art Talk. So today I wanted to talk about just naming the position that you want to take in the industry, that you want to do, and not just the industry itself. So you can't just say that I just want to be an artist in the animation industry, or I just want to be an artist for children's books. You kind of want to get even just a little bit more specific into what that actually is going to be. For example, even if you were saying that you want to becoming an illustrator into children's books, there's such a huge range from where you can go. Are you doing more preschool? Are you going more into, 8-year-old, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds? What sort of level? What are books that you've seen that feel like your voice, that feel like I can do that? I really enjoy that style of cartooning. It seems that it translates into this area where these books are very popular because of this. And that's what you want to try to identify. It's same thing with the animation industry. You can't just say, I want to work in the animation industry, because there's so many jobs. Whether you end up, I'm not even going to list them, but there's so many jobs, from the production side to the animation side to just the production side, to producing, whatever it may be. There's a lot of different variants there. So when you start to just hone in and say to yourself that, for instance, I'm a character designer, I want to be a character designer in the animation industry, well, that becomes a very clear message of what I want to do. So now that I've identified what it is that I want to do, now the thing to do is start really researching. So we got to identify, and then we need to research and start seeing who does this. What are things that might be required if I meet with a potential recruiter or meet someone at a convention, a gallery show, you name it, on a Zoom, in a meeting, wherever I can ask questions, whatever it may be, to that specific person. What is a director that you meet somehow? What is it that you're looking for in a character designer's portfolio? And they'll start to tell you, well, we need to see a variety of just style variation in there. We need to see some turnarounds. We need to see expressions and attitudes. And we need to see that just diversity all around, as you're going to have to work on a lot of different styles of shows. So showing that is going to be beneficial. So now that I understand that, then I can start just moving everything that I do, all my energy, all my focus, all my learning power into that realm. And it will start to just help me just get stronger, eventually build up that portfolio, strengthen that portfolio, and keep moving me in the right direction. That way I'm not just going off on all these different sidetracks and all these different paths leading me to potentially over here, potentially over there. That's not what we want to do. We need to make sure that we get a little bit more decisive on what that thing is, just to streamline that process and make it so that we're not so caught up. And I say this because I meet so many artists all the time that are just unsure of what area they want to get into, what they want to do. And that's why we got to search, we got to discover, we got to explore. You see these things. You could be flipping through a magazine and going, oh man, I love these spot illustrations. That's so cool. I would love to be able to do something like that. Otherwise, you see, it could be just gaming of some sort. It could be just tabletop games, for instance, where you see covers on boxes and illustrations. You go, God, that's something that I'd really want to do. I want to try to do that. And then you just start doing the research and you start to discover what more things need to be done. And oftentimes you're going to find conventions based around whatever subject you want to get into. If you just want to work for doing book illustration, well, there's publishing conventions, okay? So that's where you get to meet that core audience. If you want to do something for, just farm animals, there's conventions, there's something for everything. But that's why we have to identify what that is. And also keep in mind that nothing is a life sentence. Even if you decide to do it today, doesn't mean you have to be doing it 20 years from now. It's just like, what is that thing that is inspiring you right now? What is that thing that excites you? What looks interesting? What looks like is in your wheelhouse of something that you can actually do that's not going to potentially take 20 more years to master, where you can go, gosh, I can pretty much, if I stay dedicated and if I stay focused, I could learn this in pretty much a short amount of time just to get my foot in the door, get started. And when I'm saying this, I'm thinking about caricature, because that's how I started. Was I wanted just to, I love caricature. I started to learn, really just involved myself in it and honed in on it and started to strengthen my skills, ended up getting a job doing caricature. And that's what started my whole career and led me to everything, was doing that, and a good paying job and everything else. And it was just through that desire of focusing and getting good at this area was going to help me branch out. Of course, it's always good to work on just your basic fundamentals of drawing with everything in general. And that's just your observation is going to be more important than anything. Learning your construction is going to be more important than anything. And going to figure drawing class, learning how to draw the figure will always guide you. And if you can do these things, it's going to be helpful. It doesn't mean you need to learn the full everything in the anatomy, every bone, every muscle, because that takes years to do something like that. But you can certainly get yourself started in the right direction, and be sure to check out a lot of the gesture videos that I have at the Silver Drawing Academy, because that's where you're going to get the sort of knowledge which is based on more just shape and observation, and that's the approach. Okay, so with that said, just make it a great week and just really define a little bit more of what it is, the positions you want to do, not just the industry you want to work in. All right, take care.